You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Online, all social medias as you wish. Charles, Ron, Razor. Man, happy Father's Day to y'all one more again. And as promised, right now we are joined once again to continue the good financial series on this special Father's Day episode, joined by none other than my brother from another, Mr. Corbin Hargraves from Timeless Financial. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. How are you all doing today?
Blessed, man.
Blessed, man.
I'm all right.
Come on, Reggie. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that.
You know.
You want to switch up on me now. We got live now. You want to switch up.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to go back to character.
Yeah, man. But brother Corbin, though, man. So, on a special Father's Day, we've just been taking, the way that we normally have our segments and discussions, but, taking them from a dad's perspective, a father's perspective. So, if you wouldn't mind, man, I wanted to give you the opportunity, to wish, the good men happy Father's Day out there. And I'm curious, what encouraged you, man? Who was it that taught you that got you so fiscally responsible?
My father.
Hey, there we
Ironically,
go.
it truly was my father. And I know so many times in life, people don't necessarily have that guardian figure or that father figure or that male presence to be able to guide them, and it impacts them in such a severe way. But I was fortunate and blessed to not only have my father, but he is still living here. So Walter Hargraves was definitely super instrumental in not only helping me become a man, but also become financially responsible. And one of the things we're going to talk about today in this brief segment is credit.
That's right.
He taught me about credit at a very early age. He said, son, don't go out here and get yourself overextended or drowning in debt. And I thank him for that.
Who taught him?
Harping.
Who taught your dad?
You know what? I'll have to ask him myself because I've never asked him that question. I just got the game. I don't know where he got the game from. But he gave the game to me, and I'm thankful for the jewels that he dropped and planted in me. So
absolutely,
I definitely appreciate him for that.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, let's get into it, man. Let's talk to the folks, of course, everybody today. But, definitely I want, on this Father's Day, the men to listen who may be out there, struggling right now, trying to get back on their feet or trying to, just manage and maintain and be the providers, that they want to be. So I think credit is a great place to start, man. I'll kick it to you.
Absolutely. And first of all, I want to say happy Father's Day to all of you all there.
Thank you.
Present in the studio.
Yeah, thank you.
And, Razor, you said something to me 2 weeks ago when we were on the show, and you said you didn't necessarily have that person that was giving you that guidance in that game. And thank you for saying that, because I think one of the things that Timeless always likes to instill in our clients is conversation. We have to talk about finances. We have to talk about credit. We have to talk about money. We have to talk about budget. We have to talk to the next generation about how important it is. Because if we don't, we will continue to repeat the same cycles over and over and over again, and we will never break that. And so one thing that I challenged you all on the show last time we were together was, how much time are you truly spending building and having conversations with people about finances? How much are you talking or engaging in conversations with your family about credit, finances, owning homes, generational wealth, breaking the cycles of bad financial practices within our community? And I guess now I just want to open up the floor before I get into the credit, just to ask you all, has anything changed in the last 2 weeks? Because one of the biggest breakthroughs, and Aaron could speak to this, FHA announced a major announcement that I think that a lot of people that may have tried to get homes through an FHA loan, they just implemented a new rule that states for anybody that had student loan payments and debt, they're going to change it from just tacking on 1% of the total FHA balance. They're going to now do it is either 0.5 of the total outstanding balance, or they're going to allow you to whatever your credit report reports now be the official payment. So I think that's huge and that's major. And Aaron can speak to this as well too, because there were a lot of people that because of the debt that they carry, they couldn't even get approved for the FHA loan. So I just wanted to go out there and just challenge you all to say, hey, has anything changed since the last time we've spoken? Any new updates with you all? Because we need to keep this conversation going, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely chime in, first with, reiterating the importance of that conversation, and and within that having my 14-year-old talking about wanting to get a worker's permit, and be able to contribute like to his own account besides it being the parents, and just when he gets money on holidays, birthdays, or whatnot. So it definitely revigorated that conversation since we last talked, of making sure that we're spending that family time, that quality time, to discuss the the importance of finances and having a good start.
I'll be transparent. My shout out to T. My 17-year-old son.
How many businesses he got now?
I don't know, man. But look, my 17-year-old son a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, was like, Pop, I'm on Reddit. I'm following Wall Street Bets. He said, we need to buy this AMC. Corbin, I swear, it might have been like $3 a pop. And I said, You know what? I want to give you like $500, but nah, And then I look back, and he didn't say nothing to me. He just walked by me, like real, like angry. And I mean, I think that stock at one point, it was like trading for like $50. But the thing that I knew where it came from is that he and I are always talking about money. Constantly talking about investing. The other thing that I thought that, and I was very skeptical about doing this, but I actually opened up my toolbox, and I showed him one of my portfolios, and we started talking about each one of the positions. Why are you heavy in Apple? Why you like this gas company? Why you don't like that? All these different things. And now that opened up his brain to say, okay, when I even get $50, I'm going to put it in an ETF. I'm going to do some different things. And we've been doing this for about a year or two because I didn't have those conversations with my dad. Even though my dad had good credit, my dad did very well for himself. It was just like money was just not something I'd talk about. But when I saw my son's gleam in that eye, it was like, no, Pop, let's talk about this bread. Let's talk about it. That now what I'm trying to help him to understand is that, and Corbin, you can speak to this, is that a lot of the information the young kids are getting is kind of like gambling in a little way. And I'm trying to teach them that long game. Like, no, this ain't about right now. This is about 20, 30 years. This is about passing down money for people that you don't even know.
Yeah.
And trying to get them to understand that game. So,
hey, Corbin, I'll add that real quick too. The credit piece is, a young man understanding investing in itself. Even though it may not make sense now, it may not benefit you right now, but realizing investing right now is going to make the world of a difference in the future.
Absolutely. Go ahead,
Absolutely. Razor, hit me with it, Razor. Come on now.
I'm all right.
I've been seeing them boys working, man. Don't shortchange them boys.
This is where ours happened at. All right. It's funny that Corbin brought that up because when I left here, I went back to my drawing board, right? And I said, okay, I did an assessment of me and my wife, me and my children, me and my businesses, right? And I wasn't happy with what I found. And this is the reason why. I had stopped focusing on my own growth and started just doing what I had and just trying to make it better for what it was. I always try to plan for the future, and I had stopped doing it. So then I quickly started saying, okay, do I want to continue cutting? Well, God gave me a talent. Do I want to keep pushing my talent, or do I want to take my investments and turn those into what can potentially be my retirement, as well as something that I can pass on, right? So then I started working on that. I started looking at, with me and my wife. My wife's mind is already, she's the one who wanted to bring Corbin on here initially. So she's already running. So I'm actually trying to play catch up with her on the mental aspect of where she is. With me and my children, my oldest son, the one that's the most like me, him and I can have money conversations, and we do all the time. My younger children, it's one of those things where we live at, African Americans aren't expected to do as much, and they become comfortable with, I don't want to say having less, but they're being comfortable with what they're being given instead of shooting after more. Oh yeah, I'm a black unicorn. Like they say don't want to exist, but I am one. But so I took that and I said, okay, the only way that I can benefit all of these is if I make myself stronger. So I need to find out forget what I'm thriving at. What are all my weaknesses? Every single one of them, and let those become my catalyst for how I make my change. I'm at a point now, I don't need to hear I did good on your haircut, or I did good with the steak and cheese. I need to hear, okay, I'm ready to start a business. Show me how to get this involved, so that my children can have a percentage of that business that we help somebody else's family grow on. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. So when it comes to the credit aspect, like I told Corbin, nobody taught me anything about credit. The only thing they said closer to that was just pay your bills. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when I turned 16, we was out here getting them cell phones, and we was out here getting that buy here, pay here furniture, and going to buy here, pay here cars, and not paying them might put something in your name. I mean, dude, I did it all wrong.
A lot of buy here, pay here, right?
Yeah, a whole lot of buy here, pay here. Ain't nobody paid nobody nothing. You know what I'm saying? So,
Corbin, tell me something about that buy here, pay here.
Yeah. So when it came to all that, I'm really, really looking forward to what you're teaching, because even at my age of 47, I can go back and say, okay, what am I able to financially fix now that I might not have been able to do when I was 24, 25. The decision is still bad, but the resources I have that I can tap into are different.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
First of all, Razor, I want to say thank you for your transparency and your honesty. We as men need to recognize when someone is putting their self on public display, because too many times we ostracize and criticize instead of saying, you know what, it takes acknowledgement of the fact that you didn't have to share that.
Right.
A lot of times, we in the financial world want to paint ourselves as being perfect, but we had to learn the game as well too.
That's a fact.
So for you to be on a public platform, being the voice of a community, being able to say that these are the things that you did wrong, but even as a grown man, I salute you and I respect you for doing that, because you don't have to say those things. But now is the time that, as I stated last show, don't beat yourself up for all the things that you did wrong in the past. Let's get it right moving forward from present and future day. And so the reason why I wanted to bring in credit today, because it's something that has so many different components, so many different areas that we can focus on. But credit is one of the key cornerstones to financial wealth and how you will excel financially. You think about this, Aaron, in our industry, the best credit gets the lowest interest rates for a home. You think about it from a standpoint, if you go finance a car, best credit, lowest interest rates. Credit cards, best credit, lowest interest rates. And what people need to understand, the cost of credit is so critical that just 10 points difference in your score or 20 points difference in your score can cause you thousands of dollars in financed fees and interest over the life of a car loan, a fixed loan, or just the rate for your credit card. So it impacts you in so many different ways that you have to realize the better my score, the more favorable the terms are going to be for you when you are moving through the financial realm.
Yeah. Hey, Corbin,
and the other thing go ahead.
Let me interject a question right there. Let's talk to the duffel bag boys real quick. Is there a point?
What you want?
Shout out to him.
I thought you were retired.
Oh, yeah, I am.
So is there a point where an amount of cash surpasses credit?
Ooh, very good question, but watch this.
All right, come on.
It depends on what you have. Wait a minute, hold on. Well, here we go. I'll ask you, I'm going to flip the question on you real quick. Even for my duffel bag boys, cash is king. I get that. But at the end of the day, you are going to eventually want to transition into the realm of legitimacy. Okay. Yeah. So at some point, credit is going to surpass the duffel bag. You want to know why? Because in order for you to turn your life over and get it right, you still need to make sure that you have gotten to the point where you're A1 or at least B1, or C1 as far as credit score is concerned. So you can do both. I tell people there's nothing wrong with having a bag. Go get it. I salute you for going to get the bag. But at some point, you need to make sure that just like you have an abundance there as far as the cash resources are concerned, it makes you twice as strong to be A1 credit-wise and cash-wise. Makes sense.
True that. Thank you.
But wait a minute, let me ask. But that transition, and this is like I'm 47 now, so
you made the transition.
I made the transition. You know, that's just being honest. But so many fell by the wayside trying to make the transition because you don't know. Because I remember, and this is just being honest, I went into a bank one time when in my mind, I was ready to make the transition. I said, I want to start a bank account, this, that, and other. So she was like, okay, it take this much to do this. And I dropped the bag on the floor and unzipped it. And she was like, sweet Jesus, meet me in my office here real quick. And she was like, look, baby, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was younger. I was a lot younger. And she started mentoring me as to the way that you need to do it. Back then it was go to like I ain't gonna call the name, but go to the jewelry store, pull out get your little piece of jewelry, make payments on it. You know, that was as much as I knew about credit, right? Yeah. So then in your mind, because you don't know, that's where it came into getting all the furniture and getting all these other things, because you didn't look at the interest rate, you just looked at the fact that I was able to get the credit.
Yeah. Hey, and Corbin, like I know you're gonna get to it, but that could be a good segue to the different types of credit, like the revolving credit. People are understanding the difference between
good credit and bad credit.
Like that cell phone that's gonna keep coming versus something that you're actually paying off and you own after you pay off, instead of just the monthly type of credit.
Well, what's funny now, we are now evolved to the point where one of the credit bureaus, Experian, has a boost program. Okay. Experian now will allow you to report your utilities, your cell phone. So even as Razor keeps speaking about these different experiences he has, they actually can be self-reported as utilities, phone bills on your credit report for those that may not necessarily think that they can apply for a credit card. See, we've got to start thinking outside of the box. And that's a way for when someone says to me, if I don't have credit or I've never had credit, how can I transition into getting a credit score? Well, if you're paying on your cell phone, if you are paying on a utility bill, cable bill, you can now go through the Boost program to have it so it reports on your credit report.
Who do you contact
without you having any credit history?
I don't know that, because of the way our FM station operates, we can say the name of the person, but I would definitely like to get with you so that we can put that on our site.
Okay.
Yeah, he can. We can.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Corbin, he said, go ahead and repeat what the entity was that you said that you reached out to for the.
It's just one of the credit bureaus. It's Experian.
Okay.
Experian. Yeah. So
and we asked them to follow our cell phone company.
So basically what you do, if you go onto Experian's website, and I will send it to you directly, but if you go onto Experian's website, there is a link for you to set up what's called Boost Your Score. And that Boost the Score program will allow you to start reporting your cell phone, your cable bills, your utility bills, so that once it starts showing up when you're making those payments, it will reflect on your credit score.
That's what's
It's
up.
on the Experian website.
Max, you hear that? Do it for us, baby. I need it.
Look at that.
I need it.
Passing the buck.
Yes, sir.
Literally.
So,
hey, yeah, so man, but to that point too, it's important, because I talk to young brothers a lot too. When they look at people that they look up to in the limelight, whether it's the athlete or the rapper and whatnot. And the thing that I try to get young brothers to see, my kids included, speaking as a dad, is that there's somebody, like the ones that are successful and start diversifying their portfolio. There's somebody that's managing books very well for them. Like part of that is somebody figuring out how to solidify their revenues, right? Whether that's them just starting to build credit or whatnot. Like, so that can't be overshadowed. You know what I mean? For people to really understand how that works. Like, as much as we idolize, a Jay-Z and the moves he made, he talks about credit now, on the story of OJ.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, like, so it's like, no matter where you come from, like what Corbin is telling us right now is crucial if you really trying to, to elevate your potential to the max. Yeah.
The thing about it is, not only you got to look at the team that the wealthy surround themselves, from accountants, tax experts, financial advisors, money movers, stockbrokers. I mean, there is a team, because one thing we have to acknowledge is this: if you don't know something or that's not your line of expertise, as Aaron said earlier, we're just chasing. Like we're just playing gamble games when you shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
Like there is enough resources out here financially that if you want to get ahead seriously and take your finances seriously and level up, that you can employ the people that you need to give you the wisdom, the knowledge, and the resources to get you where you want to be. Period. Point blank. And there are enough people out here, whether they're successful or not, who are, experts in their particular field that will love to share it with you, man. I'm passionate about this, man. I love it. I mean, this credit series can continue we can rehash and come back to it, even though we'll talk about a bunch of different topics financially. Yeah. But there's so many different elements of credit, but it's one of the key cornerstones, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, to impacting your overall finances. You think about it, on a $250,000 purchase of a home, right? Which in our area, I mean, that's a standard purchase price, right? For single family home here in Charlottesville, if not higher, significantly higher, to be honest with you. You're talking about if you have a credit score, for example, of a 640 and you get approved for that loan versus someone who has a 720 or somebody who has 640 versus 700, you could be possibly talking about $30,000 to $40,000 over the life of 30 years that you just cost yourself just by not having a higher credit score. So it's imperative that we focus in on that as the fundamentals, because once again, like I said, we can't necessarily go back and correct what we did in the past. We can just get it right going forward. And we need to understand, like I said, there are alternative ways in order to be able to get your credit score established if you don't have a score that's already reporting now. Many ways to do it.
Yeah. Hey, Corbin, love the information. So one of the things, and I think you probably do the same thing, is sometimes when clients are coming through the door, we start talking to them about credit reports and debt, and they want to qualify for more. I see a lot of very high interest rate loans. And when I try to explain to some of my clients is I say, credit, sometimes having bad credit, you really don't know what it costs you. But when you really start to look at it, and I'm just giving an example. I had a client and we were just talking about some numbers, and she was like, and I said, well, when did you take out this loan? And we literally went through the amortization schedule. And I said, you borrowed 5, you're going to end up paying back 13. I said, this is real money. Like, this is not make-believe money. Like, this is real money. And then I asked her, I said, well, when did you take this out? She said, I didn't have good credit at the time. I was going through some things. And then when we started talking about it, she literally said, I didn't know bad credit would cost me so much real money. Wow. Talk about that a little bit, man.
It's so funny that you mentioned it, because I do the same thing. You mentioned the amortization schedules. For those that may not know what that is, basically it is a breakdown of your principal and interest payments for a loan. So for example, whether it's a mortgage, right, a student loan payment, or an installment loan for a car or auto loan, this amortization schedule is going to show you the repayment over the life from payment 1 till the final payment. And what you have the ability to be able to show a person when they take out finance is this. Say, okay, if your interest rate is 5%, this is what you will pay in interest over the life of loan. If your interest rate is 7%, this is how much additional interest you will pay over the life of loan by looking at this amortization schedule. So, and it's so funny that you mentioned that, because just this week in itself, I was showing the difference. A client was talking to me about buying down points or wanting to get a lower interest rate because they do have great credit. And I was able to show them, just by buying down, spending $1,900 on the front end for a home mortgage to buy down points for 0.25%, they were, because of the loan size, able to save $19,000. But that's how the financially savvy move, because they will say, okay, if I spend $1,900 in the front end and I'm able to save almost $20,000 over the life of the loan, is that a worthwhile cost? Absolutely. But that amortization schedule will break that down for you, so you could put those numbers together and see it on paper, that real money that you're talking about that it costs you when your credit is not up to par.
Absolutely.
I got a question. All right. When it comes to, let's talk to the people who don't have good credit right now. Like, I mean, we're talking about something that we live in a microwave society. So some people don't want to put forth the next 5 years building their credit, even though we know we have to. What should a person do at this point?
Hey, where do you start, right?
Let's say you got a 9 to 5. Let's say we're not talking about us where we got businesses and stuff. I got a 9 to 5. I make whatever it is I make per hour, and I want better credit. I got a 600 low 600 credit score, high 500, whatever. You know what I'm saying? For whatever choices I chose, buy here, pay here cars, or spending cash for everything and not really having good credit. How should they live at this point with the credit score that, you know, that isn't favorable to going out and getting a loan right now? Because that could be true too. Just because you can get the loan, maybe you shouldn't until you do certain things to put yourself in a better position.
Absolutely.
Because once you lock yourself in, then you find yourself trying to refinance something to get a lower interest rate, and that's almost like losing the money that you spent already, right?
Well, so if I'm hearing you correctly, what should that person do to make the adjustment to either better themselves from a credit perspective? I want to make sure I get the question correctly.
And have a good quality of life right now, because nobody wants to spend the next 5-10 years building their credit and living a way that they don't prefer.
Christmas is canceled.
Right. Yeah.
Temporarily.
So, but the mindset, I think that's a huge problem in our community, is not understanding, okay, look, you're going, it's almost like somebody being on a diet. They're cutting out all these things, but you give them like a cheat day so that they don't fall all apart. So when somebody's trying to build their credit, we can tell them don't do this and do that. But what can they do to sustain a good quality of life, especially people that have kids? You know, because a lot of bad decisions are made because of their kids.
So this is the thing. I truly believe, and I know if Aaron, my partner, was on this show, he would say the same thing. We all want to have a good quality of life, okay? What is the point of us working and not being able to have some level of satisfaction or enjoyment out of life?
Right.
You work, no play, no relaxation, no vacations, not to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. No, it's not even about that. But there needs to be balance, and we have to have priorities. The problem a lot of times I see in our community, we salute the ones that wear the depreciating assets, the depreciating goods, and we want to honor those that
in the movie,
you know, just wear those items or show those items. And the problem with it is there's nothing wrong with that. That's great if you have that disposable income to put on those items. But if we're having a real discussion, as we will continue to have every Sunday that we are on this show, let me tell you this. One of the ways that we have to finally break the cycle is to stop thinking that the way in which we show success is by being the top consumers in the country of retail goods and services, because it's not. But it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it some, but do it in rational proportion to which your income is there. You need to allot some money towards it, but sometimes you talk about Christmas, commercialized holidays, and the amount of money some families spend that don't even necessarily have it or going into debt over that. Okay, I understand. We all want to have, if that's what you celebrate based on your religious beliefs, fine. But what I'm saying to you, why drown in debt over a holiday, or why go drown yourself in debt trying to keep up with the Joneses, as the old cliche statement goes, when you know that you're not in a position to live that lifestyle and it costs you? I have no problem with, if things make you feel good, okay, do them. But you also need to put that energy into making yourself financially gained in regards to like getting yourself in a better position as well too. So even if someone has subpar credit, I say to them this: I don't want you to stop living, because then you'll just hate the fact of repairing yourself financially, right? But what I want you to do is you need to have some balance with that as well too. And this is the whole reason we're having these discussions here, right? Is because we need to be honest, brutally honest with one another and saying, look, instead of us saluting the person that's got the fly kicks, the fly wear on, whatever the case may be, I want to recognize the guy that said, you know what, he came up from the mud, he got it honest, and he was able to work his way up. He built his credit up from the bottom. He was able to get the knowledge he was to build, to invest, to save, to gain a business. Like, I salute all of you all for being entrepreneurs and getting out here and getting it. That's what I salute and recognize you for. And if you happen to go enjoy the spoils of your labor and you get the car, you get a nice little piece of jewelry or something, man, salute to you. But I just don't want to hear you on the back end coming to my office crying about talking about some, man, man, I'm so out the frame right now.
Yeah.
Then why are you doing that?
Hey, Corbin,
Why are
I'm
you
going to
doing
ask you a question. Do you think that mental health plays a part in bad credit in our community?
Absolutely. And it frustrates me so bad because I know in our Black community, we think of that as a taboo subject. We have, for generation to generation, we try to ignore when people are going through things. Oh, they just going through a little phase, just push them off to the side and stuff. It is real. It is real out here. I can't tell you the clients that have come behind my doors in my office and cried and poured their heart out because they felt like they had to live up to the expectations of other people that weren't paying a single bill for them.
Yeah.
Because they had created this lifestyle and people were just so used to it. And I'm like, who are you trying to please? Like, get it right with yourself internally. Get it right for your family. We've got to stop acting as if mental health is not real. It's real out here, man. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are smiling on the outside, but are hurting in the inside. They are hemorrhaging. They're just going through it. And these are tough times, not only because of the pandemic, but just in general. Prior to the pandemic, people were going through things, but our community, we've got to stop acting like if someone is going through something, instead of beating them up, say, you know what, it's okay, man. Let me take your hand. Let me lend out my hand here and pull you up, because the problem with it is it's not just about the finance. It's about the mental health, because finance is important to those that don't have it and those that do have it. Those that have money and don't have money, it affects you some kind of way. You think about those that lost their jobs during the pandemic. You think about those that went to reduced hours. You think about those that weren't able to support their families. I mean, there are a lot of people that are still reeling from the effects of the pandemic. Businesses shut down. I mean, there's all kinds of things that are happening now, and it just started to compound on the already existing issues that were happening out here in the world. So yes, absolutely, raise it.
I got 100%. One last thing for y'all. Child support and the court system has ruined a lot of people when it comes to the credit or financial aspects. How do you combat that when they say that you owe a certain amount of money, but if you go out here and make more money, they increase your payment? How do you come out of that hole?
I'll tell you how you come out of that hole. Ask for forgiveness. ask for sincere forgiveness.
Man, call him stupid.
He ain't lying though. Look, he ain't lying.
I need some mercy and grace on this earth. That's what I'm talking about. I tell guys all the time, I'm not in a position, but I'm just telling you, it's all about building the rapport and having that relationship. A lot of times, guys, I hate to say this, man. A lot of times our brothers and our men out here will dog the mother of their children, right? Publicly. And then you wonder why. And then to make it even worse, on Father's Day, right? They're not playing an active role in the lives of their children. Yeah. And then wonder why they're having to go through that. I'm not judging anybody. This isn't the statement. Isn't
that's real talk.
Judge anybody in a position, but I'm saying to you, you can't come to me complaining about the mother of your children if you are not upholding your end of the bargain to be a father to your child, as in the words of Edo G and the Bulldog. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, guess what? We've got to man up. That's right. We got to man up on Father's Day and every day after this. We really have to man up and take control of our responsibilities, take the onus to be able to do what we're supposed to do at the end of the day. And so I don't really have a lot of leniency towards it, because one day I hope to have my own child. I have some non-biological kids, obviously, that I played a key role in and love them dearly as if they're my own. But that's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing. Children are a blessing, man. Don't take that for granted. Just don't do it.
Hey, Corbin, if I give you any advice, find your wife first and then find your kid.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know what your circumstances is, but I'm just saying, like, that's one thing that I think that we have out of order, is that we become fathers before we become husbands. And that plays a large part of why our community has been struggling, in my personal opinion, when I look around, not just in my own situation, but as others too. So if you love to have a child that you consider a blessing, I would say find you somebody that you're willing to stick with in that. Because you don't want to, with all that you have, you don't want to become no baby daddy, man.
I'm going to say this. Not only do I respect what you just said, but I think it's important that people take heed to that, because a lot of times people don't want to hear that conversation. people confuse the L words, love and lust. You understand what I'm saying? It's a huge difference between the two.
Don't forget a little bit. Give me a little bit.
What were we talking about? Credit?
Oh, my bad. Razor jumps out every now and then. I'm sorry. Pray for me.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. But thank you for that, though. I receive it.
Yeah,
I
no
receive
doubt.
it, though, seriously.
That's all good.
Hey, but Corbin, thanks as always. So was anything else you want to leave with us on a credit tip, and then I'm like, what's your closing words until next time?
Yeah, so like I said, thank you for the opportunity, but credit is something that we will continue to come back and touch on as long as you allow us to continue to be a part of this platform, because there's so many different directions we can go with this. Yeah. And it's a key piece.
Yep.
To the entire financial puzzle of us trying to figure this thing out in life as we continue to move through this journey. Obviously, shout out to my own partner, Aaron, and his family. Happy Father's Day once again to all of you brothers sitting in the studio and all the fathers out there that are listening. Like I said, let's man up. Let's take responsibility. Shout out to my brother who's in town visiting with me, and his wife, Adrian, and my other partner. Everybody, man. So happy Father's Day to you, man.
Happy Father's Day.
Appreciate it, man.
Everybody.
As always, until next time, and folks, we are going to continue this series. We're gonna fit it in because it's so crucial, that financial empowerment and investing and the steps we need to, secure our finances. Guys, I think this is a great way to end it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On that note, man.
Yeah, you better, because I'm going to say something stupid.
hey,
I felt it coming. This line, because Razor on one today.
Hey, Corbin, when I give you fair warning, that's all it is. If I tell you, all right, get me off the air here soon, right?
But brothers, happy Father's Day to y'all for all that you do for the community. Yeah. For the kids, yours and otherwise, man, because it definitely takes a village. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate every one of y'all.
Yes, sir.
Likewise. Y'all be good.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, and IMHO family. That does it for today. Thank y'all for joining us as always. Stay tuned. Follow up. Get the show on demand and share it. Please share. We are here for y'all at WVI 101 Jams. Man, Charlottesville's #1 for classics and interactive hip hop and R&B. Don't forget that interactive part. Yeah. www.101jams.com. IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Ron, Razor. All right, till next time, y'all. Peace.